everybody, Cyborg here, back for another one. This one is all about sonatas, or the theater, everything having to do with sonatas, basically. Let's just hop right in here. What I'm trying to do here is save you some resources and give you a direction if you're, not super clear on what to do here. And this is just basically going to be everything I know about sonatas. First things first is I want to draw attention to this collected so far here thing, because I'm going to suggest some long-term things to do that you might miss out on a little bit of power in the short term, but you'll end up much better off in the long run. And this is why I don't want you to worry about it, about the short-term gains, because you're still going to get some anyway. Is this collected so far thing here. As you can see, I'm at 1,462 points on it. Just for reference, about the first 500 were based out of this melody that I'm in here, the natural melody, and then the rest of it is all this earth melody because of the way that you have to approach it. You'll see 4 reds, 4 golds. In this case, 6 blues, 4 blues. It's not all that case. Look, we got 4, 4, 4, and 4. That's the first one I went for, simply just because I had gotten the most randoms out of this, and then I could just bang it out with my optional, Sonata chests, which may as well cover that right now. Hang on to those optionals until you have something like this you want to do, or hang on to them forever, because there's a couple different ways of going at this. We'll get more into that later, but I suggest you just hang on to them until you can do something like this. This seems like a pretty good path to go. So let's go into the collected so far here, and look, as you get points, you get stat bonuses. 1,400, 1,300, 11, 800, 700. See, this is the stuff here I want to really draw your attention to. It's the stuff around 500, 300, 200. Look, you just get massive PvP bonuses for the first 500. I mean, that's pretty good. 1% PvP bonus, damage bonus, and damage reduction. That's good. 1% is good. And then after that, you kind of get these attack, but so you're not getting nothing if you're getting nothing. I wouldn't worry about trying to rush to complete sonatas. I think what you should do is you should get at least 1 from this first one, so that you'll have a place to throw your blue and purple extra copies that you get, that you'll get some that you don't need. I've been able to avoid it. I'll kind of show you how. Largely, I had maybe 6, 7 that I didn't need. But yeah, so you get 1 from here and 1 from here, and that way you can always have something to dump them into. And look, it doesn't matter. This is just to activate. Putting these in these spots is just to activate the ability to, level it up. So, yeah, no worries. So you got something to do with all your copies that you get. Once you have a place to throw your copies, you're not too worried about getting the copies, and then you can just slowly get what you get. It really has worked out for me. As you can see, I'm filling out these other books in this Sonata, and it really wasn't like that all that long ago. A few months, something like that. And then, so let's go to the shop and check out the theater shop, and this is why it feels a little bit painful when you first go on it, because, you need those reds. They just cost so much more. Earlier melodies are just so much more accessible. So anyway, let's go take a look at one of these chests here. It gives you series 1, 2, 3, and 4, and those roughly correlate to the melody that you're working on. So these will have more out of the first one, and what I want you to notice is they don't all have an equal amount of sonatas in them. You know, there is some crossover. So if you're going, you know, in a generalist kind of way, filling out all the books slowly, then, you know, you may want to start with the ones that have a little bit more in them, so that, you know, you can get some from the first as you're zeroing down. But I mean, generally speaking, you're gonna get more out of, you know, the corresponding melody from each of these series. I've tested it to a pretty good amount, you know, especially on this fourth one. You know, I've been really working on that, but I've tested them all, and it roughly correlates from what I can tell. You know, I was saying there's a couple of different approaches, and, you know, one is to just be super patient and just kind of fill them all out, and then one day have a huge giant power burst. But I think going for, you know, at least one or maybe two of those, and then going straight here, and because if you look at these skills, that's, you know, pretty good. General crit damage up, and then, you know, other ones will have crit damage down, and it just kind of repeats throughout. So I mean, that's hard to beat compared to, you know, I mean, PvE damage is cool, but, you know, compared to this, it's kind of nothing. You know, you can do, you don't need that PvE damage. There's actually other ways to get that. That'll just come naturally, you know. But I do suggest getting at least one or two out of here, just to, you know, have a place to throw those other ones, you know, when you should want to. But I mean, it's not even super important if you want to go straight for this, you know, fine, because, you know, once you open up this part, then you can throw anything in there. It's just, you know, these, as you can see, they don't get you a whole lot in the way of experience for that. So I mean, there's no harm in throwing them in something like this, you know. But then, you know, eventually you're gonna have to give up at least a couple of these, and those are hard fought for, you know. So yeah, it's up to you, whatever you want to do. But, you know, I suggest going for these as quickly as possible. If you're new, these won't even open up for you until you're at a certain account level, I believe. It seems that's what triggers a lot of things here. I don't know for sure. Okay, well. Okay, so one thing as to, you know, if you are, there's always going to be a point to where it does become more advantageous to go for something else at some point. Like some of these other series. And if you notice here, what you'll see is that needed on them. See, that one has it, that one does not, that one has it. Anyway, so this as you get them filled out to where, you know, more duplicates won't do anything for you, that goes away, and you can kind of get a feel for, you know, what you need versus what you've already filled out. And because at a certain point, it's going to be real frustrating trying to zero in on those with randoms. So, you know, unfortunately, this is one of those parts of, you know, where spending a little bit of money helps, but it's totally not necessary, because you will I've bought so few of those, it's not even funny. The red ones, I've bought a couple of those, I believe, out of the like vending machine type of things that they have during certain events. So but by and large, I've just get what you get from the theater here, and it is what it is. Boom. I just bought that orange one to use as an example because I've been using them. Okay, so here's another very important thing here. The World Theater. How to approach this? Well, you know, some people will save up a whole bunch so that they can do the whole, like here. Like, I mean, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. I don't know. So, you know, generally they'll save them up and try to get number 1 to get that, which, I mean, I've never done that, but I mean, you can get one of those orange ones pretty quickly, you know, week and a half if you're doing all the cyclical, you know, time-based stuff that comes and goes without spending money. And then you purchase these two. Well, obviously you're getting the bonus one, but the 300 gem, I believe it is, one for 5. Get that every day. It adds up over time, and it's not much gems. You know, this is a game of inches here, the extreme game of inches. So yeah, just get those every day, and then spend them. Here we go. I mean, to me, it's better if you just don't go for that and just get the steady progress. You know, you can. It seems pretty approachable like that to me, and especially for, I mean, yeah, those are real good, but I mean, look, bam, see, and as this is another reason to do what I'm saying here, because as you level up, you get Sonatas. As you level up your theater act, you know, get your theater act. I think it's act 300 and above. You can start getting the red ones. I believe that's when I've only gotten a few, but you know, you get a lot of those. I mean, I don't want to say a lot, but a fair amount of Sonatas there. I've gotten a bunch of blues and purples, and some oranges, and then a few of the reds. You know, it is a thing. Just spend the keys, I say, and don't worry about saving them up for one orange. I don't know how long it takes to save up enough to win it. I mean, it seems to go up more over time as people, you know, try to save up enough to guarantee it. So this is one instance where I will advocate short-term over long-term here, because when you see gains from it, you're more likely to keep doing it. So the pearls, that's another thing. I've shown why in another very short video, go check that out, why you should save up 10 pearls before spending them. And it's because you want to get all of those carousel items there. Well, basically I stop when I get the Sonata, and then when I get the 10,000 gems. I don't know how often. I think getting that purple one there, I think the chances of getting that is like you'll usually get it last, but it is worth it to go ahead and save up 10 and spend 10. But sometimes, to me, you know, if I get, this is when I'll not spend all 10, is if I get the Sonata and the 10k gems, you know, pretty quickly within like 3 or 4 pulls. If you get both of those, just hold off, because you'll have another 10. You'll be back up to 10 again super quick, and it's probably going to force you to use all 10 in that case. So, you know, just play the odds. But this thing is pretty great, because look at the rewards. I did get, last time I got the 12,888 gems. That felt really great. So, but it'll force you to go that far more often than not. So if you get the other things early, then just hold off, wait another week and a half, and then boom, you're going to be forced to spend your whole 10 anyway, and then you'll get that good reward too. If you ask me, those 3 things are really what you're fishing for in here. Getting the souls, the like dark souls is good too. I mean, but most of these things are pretty good. Some of them like and this is the thing, is why you don't want to spend them as soon as you get them, because you have no idea how many times I've done that and gotten this, and then maybe like this. Those two. I mean, those two seem to be my general curse. And after enough times of that is when I said, wait a second, we're just gonna save up 10 and guarantee some good prizes, because this is really freaking frustrating trying to play, trying to play into their odds. And they allow you to guarantee it, so go for it. Okay. Oh, and I mean, by the way, everything besides these Sonatas in here, it's bait. I mean, there's some good stuff. And I tell you, one time I did, when I think when I was A20ing Princess is when I spent like 4,000 records on these and these. I just, was getting impatient, wanted to get it over with, had other plans for Awakening, so yeah. Every now and then you want to do something like that, sure, but by and large, everything besides Sonatas in here is bait. And the blue Sonatas and the purple Sonatas, I would say, are also bait, because let's see what kind of stash I'm sitting on with those. For optional ones that you can pick any of. 18 purples, 22 blues. So, and I haven't used any of those, I don't believe. Oh, and I have a couple, but, for those, you get those kind of naturally through certain events, or sometimes if you do those chain reaction deals that they, give you a couple times a month, you can get those through that as well, I believe. Maybe it's not the optionals, but I think they are. Anyway, you can collect them in various ways, and my advice, just kind of hang on to them for when you need one or two to complete a book or something like that. And then at some point, if you just mainly stick to the oranges and reds, it's going to take you a while to fill those out. And then I did the math not too long ago. It's like I needed 40 purples and 40 blues to, just fill out all of them. So, as long as you don't go so long that you get more of these than you really need, then cool. Let's see here. Anything else about Sonatas? I think that's it. For the most part. Cool. All right. Peace.